Recently, Akon dropped a bombshell on a podcast. He spilled the beans, pulling back the curtain on his murky past.
I got into a lot of That's how I end up getting locked up. You know what I mean?
His prison story is nothing like we imagine. Akon was a polarizing figure in the 2000s. His actions kept us all guessing.
If I had to describe what I was going through when I was stealing cars and all the police chases.
He painted one picture, while news outlets painted another. So what's the real deal with Akon? Why did he end up in prison? Hold on tight. The truth is more surprising and unsettling than anyone imagined. Akon's reaction to being locked up.
I was doing things that I didn't think I had the courage to do, just to impress my homies, so they don't think I was a punk.
In a recent interview on Impulsive, Akon covered several key points about his life experiences and perspectives, particularly regarding his upbringing, values, temptations, and prison sentence. Let's break it down. Akon reflected on his humble beginnings coming from a village in Africa and experiencing flying on a plane for the first time to the US. He acknowledged that this journey has always grounded him and given him reasons to be grateful for where he is. This set the stage for discussing how his values were tested and sometimes compromised as he pursued acceptance and success in the US. However, when Akon arrived in the US, he found himself facing challenges. He struggled to stay true to his values and religious beliefs as he tried to fit in with his new surroundings. In his quest for acceptance and success, he ended up doing things that went against what he had been taught. This led to him getting into trouble and even landing in jail, all in an attempt to impress others.
I got into a lot of That's how I end up getting locked up. You know what I mean? Just trying to find ways to I would honestly do things that I ain't even thought I was even capable of doing, just to impress people.
Akon openly talks about his past involvement in illegal stuff like shoplifting and stealing cars. He admits he tried different ways to make money but realized dealing drugs wasn't worth it because it's risky and doesn't pay much unless you're dealing big amounts.
So you got into, it was what, boosting or stealing cars, right?
I kind of dibbled and dabbled in a little bit into everything.
Now here's the thing. Akon already spent most of his career in the 2000s talking about how he was the ringleader of a carjacking operation.
You know, it was like a hobby. It was just something I did. And, I wasn't really the type to keep a diary, so I just made songs about my situations. And then later on, it just became to be situations I decided to one day want to sell. After I got out of prison, I ended up doing 3 years for being a ringleader of a notorious car theft operation. Came out, couldn't get a regular job.
Akon's crew had a knack for snatching up Porsches, Lamborghinis, and Mercedes. He had not one, not two, but 4 chop shops, serving up wheels to both A-listers and entrepreneurs. But every empire has its downfall, and Akon's came in the form of some disgruntled underlings who decided to spill the beans to the police. So off he went to a cozy Georgia prison for a 3-year stint. Inside, he wasn't just doing time, he was running a school for boxing, a one-man wrecking crew knocking out problems left and right. When he wasn't throwing punches, he was penning tunes, turning his incarceration into a lyrical saga. Locked Up wasn't just a song, it was his life on wax, the soundtrack of his cell block existence. Fast forward to his release in 2002, and Akon wastes no time immortalizing his prison days in song. While others in the game were busy flaunting their riches, Akon decided to flaunt his prison time.
If I had to describe what I was going through when I was stealing cars and all the police chases, that I can definitely say I was in that state of mind of get rich or die trying.
Forget about 50 Cent's bullet wounds or Snoop Dogg's brushes with the law. Akon wanted to be the poster child for life behind bars. So he named his company Convict Music, because why not wear your rap sheet on your sleeve? He also titled his album Convicted. But hold your applause, because it seems like Akon's autobiography is more fiction than fact. The Smoking Gun did some digging and found out that his tales of jailhouse drama are about as real as a unicorn riding a rainbow. The Smoking Gun is a website where you can find legal papers, arrest records, and police photos every day. It turns out that Akon's biography was a mixtape of exaggerations, embellishments, and straight-up fabrications. Sure, Akon had a rap sheet, but it was more like a remix of minor offenses with a sprinkle of felony. Forget the dramatic narrative of prison yard drama and snitching sagas. Akon's stint in the slammer was more like a brief layover. No years-long sentence, no epic battles with hardened criminals, just a few months chilling in jail. Akon told these fake stories about his criminal past as part of his marketing strategy, and it worked really well.
Jail was a blessing for me, I literally had to get, I felt like God did me a favor. Because it seemed like everything that I'm doing today, I thought about when I was in there. It was all manifested from the plan that I made while I was in there.
Whenever he's interviewed, he talks about his supposed crimes and compares himself to movie characters. He keeps emphasizing how notorious his theft ring was, as if it makes him sound even more like a criminal. The music press didn't question or look into Akon's lies. Instead, they promoted him as a successful artist who's a shining light in the struggling music industry. He received awards and recognition from Billboard and Vibe magazine. His albums sold millions of copies worldwide, and his ringtones have been downloaded millions of times. He even collaborated with big names like Gwen Stefani, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and Eminem. Akon seemed very confident that no one would question the stories he told about his past. This kind of behavior might sound familiar. It's like when artists exaggerate their criminal past to create an image of being tough and rebellious. They talk about it in interviews and use it in their music to stand out and sell more. Without these stories, they worry they'll just blend in with everyone else. Akon's criminal history first came into question after he faced charges related to harassment and endangering a child in 2007. Initially, he was released without bail because a computer check found no warrants or previous criminal records. This was surprising given Akon's claims of past arrests and prison time. However, a more thorough check by investigators, including fingerprint analysis by the FBI, revealed that Akon had been arrested 6 times before, using different names and birth dates. Prosecutors then requested a bail of $5,000, but a judge denied it. Despite Akon's stories of frequent arrests while growing up in New Jersey, there's no evidence of such cases in official record. He has spoken about selling marijuana and test answers from his high school locker, as well as renting out a gun. He claimed to have gained popularity by associating with gangsters and being fearless in fights. Even though he lived in the suburbs, he said he preferred the excitement of the ghetto. Akon was born in Missouri, but spent some time in Senegal, where his dad was a famous percussionist. Then, in the mid-90s, his family moved to Georgia. He often went back to New Jersey, where he hung out with people from the Fugees. He was signed to a record label called Elektra and worked on songs with Wyclef Jean and Stevens. But things went downhill when his deal with Elektra fell through, and he got into legal trouble for gun possession. He got out on bail, but was later arrested by Detective R.L. Brewer in Georgia after driving a stolen BMW past a police stakeout. Brewer found documents suggesting Akon owned a $70,000 BMW but thought they were fake. He asked FBI agent McFarland for help. McFarland, who was experienced in car crime, agreed that the papers were phony. Brewer then got warrants for Akon's arrest, accusing him of having a stolen car, forging documents, and tampering with the car's ID number. Akon was jailed, unable to pay the $20,000 bond. Years later, McFarland still remembered the case because of a key detail. The BMW was stolen in 1998. Before Akon got arrested while driving the car had been stolen from outside Robert Schiffman's office in Columbus, Georgia. Schiffman was a wealthy financier who also collected valuable guitars. One of these guitars, a 1931 Herman Hauser, was in the trunk of the stolen car. This particular guitar had belonged to the famous classical guitarist Andres Segovia. It was worth more than the BMW itself, valued at $100,000. The thieves who stole the car didn't realize the guitar's value, so they threw it away along with other items from the car. A Bell South lineman later found the guitar still in its case in a bush by the roadside. 5 years later, the guitar was returned to Schiffman. It's unclear how Akon got the BMW, but there's a story about members of an R&B group buying stolen cars at a discount. Anyway, the serious charges against Akon were dropped in April 1999 after he spent 5 months in jail. Then in June 1999, he pleaded guilty to having a weapon in New Jersey. He got probation instead of jail time because he had a clean record and seemed like he'd do well on probation. He did, and his probation was ended early in 2001. In case this is not enough proof for you, Akon's son Tyler was born in 2001. This means he was conceived around late October 2000, right in the middle of this supposed prison time that Akon never actually served. This information comes from a legal case filed in Fulton County, Georgia. In that case, Akon was ordered to pay $2,795 each month in child support to Tyler's mother, who used to be part of a sorority at Eastern Kentucky University. Akon responded to the accusations made by the smoking gun by basically saying they were just someone's opinion and that everyone has the right to think what they want. He also mentioned that the accusations didn't damage his reputation and actually helped by making people think differently. He said the controversy ended up being good for him, even though he wasn't trying to make it a big deal. Akon isn't the only musician who stretched the truth about their past, but he's taken it to another level by actively promoting these false stories. In fact, in recent times, many artists have been charged with some of the things Akon lied about, but unlike him, these artists are about that life. Chicago rapper G Herbo is one living proof. He was accused of using stolen identities to fund a lavish lifestyle. The indictment filed in the U.S. District Court of Massachusetts in Springfield in 2020 names G Herbo and 5 other members of his team: Antonio Tiglo Strong, Joseph Williams, Stephen Hayes Jr., Demario Sorrells, and Terrence Bender. All 6 were charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud along with aggravated identity theft and aiding and abetting, while Strong was also charged with wire fraud. The Group allegedly used social media to share information on stolen identities and stole credit cards to purchase luxury goods and services, including private jets, a villa in Jamaica, luxury cars, hotel rooms, and designer puppies. The total amount fraudulently charged was $1.5 million. G Herbo was also charged with lying to a federal agent in November 2018 about his relationship with co-defendant and rap promoter T-Glow, who is considered the mastermind behind the scheme. On July 28, 2023, G Herbo agreed to plead guilty to wire fraud and identity theft charges. He faced up to 20 years in prison but received a reduced sentence of 3 years probation. He has also been ordered to pay $140,000 in restitution to the victims, including $10,458 to Woof Woof Puppies in Michigan. Young Thug and Gunna were also arrested on racketeering charges in 2022. They were accused of co-founding a violent street gang that committed multiple carjackings. Glock 9, another convicted rapper from Orlando, Florida, has a rap sheet Akon would be jealous of. These charges include identity theft, possession of an unregistered firearm, and aggravated identity theft. Glock 9 was accused of fraudulently applying for the federal Paycheck Protection Program during the COVID-19 pandemic. He received $10,216 in funds intended for struggling businesses by using his bank account, but another person's identity for the application. Law enforcement recovered $7,216 from his account. Additionally, Glock 9 was charged with possession of an unregistered firearm. He allegedly hid a stolen semi-automatic rifle with a barrel length of under 16 inches in his grandparents' garage. This type of rifle is required to be registered with the National Firearms Registration and Transfer Record. Glock 9 pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison. On February 5, 2019, Lil Durk and King Von were involved in an incident in Midtown Atlanta where they allegedly robbed and shot someone. The victim was shot in the thigh and nearly died. $30,000 was reported to have been taken, along with an expensive diamond chain. Prosecutors argued that the case was gang-related due to Lil Durk's Chicago gang affiliations and that the two rappers had planned the robbery because they knew the victim had cash and valuables on him. A judge in Fulton County, Georgia, found probable cause to charge both rappers with criminal attempt to commit murder, aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Both Lil Durk and King Von turned themselves in and maintained their innocence. Lil Durk released a song called Turn Myself In at the time. They were granted bond and the charges were dismissed in 2022. Back to Akon, he might not have done some of the things he claimed, but he has a ridiculously long list of legal issues and controversies. Let's take a look at some of them. Akon's real rap sheet. In 2007, Akon got into trouble after a concert in Fishkill, New York. He was accused of doing two things: endangering the welfare of a minor and second-degree harassment. During the concert, someone threw something near Akon, which made him stop and ask who did it. The crowd pointed out the person, and Akon told security to bring him on stage. The fan was immediately brought onto the stage. Akon took off his shirt and necklace, then picked up the boy, threw him into the crowd, and said, "Now we can start the show. Y'all ready?" Later, Akon reassured everyone that the boy was okay, but scolded the audience for not supporting him enough. He said, "See, now you got me feeling by myself. I thought I had fans and support." According to TMZ, the child that was thrown landed on a girl who got concussed from the incident. Akon's lawyer said Akon didn't do anything wrong in the weird situation. The lawyer, Benjamin Braffman, said they looked at all the information and didn't think Akon did anything illegal. They're ready to help any police investigation. They're sure that if the investigation is done properly, it will show that Akon shouldn't be charged with any crime. Akon later admitted that the incident was planned to promote his upcoming music. In December 2008, he admitted guilt to the charges and got 3 years of probation, 65 hours of community service, and a $2,500 fine. He also had to take anger management classes and sing for troubled teens. However, the Fishkill incident wasn't the only time Akon caused a stir that year. On April 12, 2007, Akon invited a female fan on stage during a concert in Trinidad. The fan, Dana Alain, was 15 years old but believed she was entering a dance contest to win a trip to Africa. Akon simulated with Alain, and the incident was filmed and circulated widely online. Akon faced significant backlash, with Verizon dropping its sponsorship of his tour. With Gwen Stefani, he issued a statement apologizing to Alain, her family, and the Trinidad community, saying he tried to ensure the club did not admit anyone under 18. Universal Music Group didn't take action against Akon, but just asked for his video to be taken down from YouTube because of copyright issues. Some people, like Brent Bozell, thought this was irresponsible of the company. On the other hand, right-wing commentators like Michelle Malkin, Laura Ingraham, and Bill O'Reilly criticized Akon for how he portrayed women in his videos. Malkin posted her thoughts on YouTube, using clips from Akon's videos and a concert. Then, Universal Music Group made her take it down, claiming copyright infringement. Malkin and the Electronic Frontier Foundation argued that it was fair use. Eventually, UMG backed off, and the video went back up on YouTube. Trinidadian authorities did not pursue charges, but Akon's reputation was damaged by the incident. He had built his brand in part on a false criminal history, and this incident further fueled the controversy surrounding his image. In 2010, a Sri Lankan Buddhist group got very upset about a concert planned by Akon. They didn't like a music video he made because it showed some women in bikinis dancing around a pool with a Buddha statue in the background. They thought this was disrespectful to their religion and their country's heritage. Some people, including Buddhist monks, protested against the concert, and things got violent. They threw rocks at the company sponsoring the concert, hurt 4 people, and damaged the building. Because of all this trouble, the Sri Lankan government decided not to let Akon come to the country for the concert. In 2018, Akon City, a $6 billion futuristic city envisioned by Akon, was planned to be built on the coast of Senegal. Inspired by Wakanda from the Black Panther films, Akon City was supposed to feature modern casinos, schools, hospitals, malls, and stadiums, with the goal of becoming the Silicon Valley of Africa. Akon first unveiled the plans in 2018, and the first phase of construction was initially set to be completed by the end of 2023. However, the project has faced significant delays and controversies, leading to speculations of it being a potential scam. One of the main controversies surrounding Akon City is the involvement of the Senegalese state and the Society for the Development and Promotion of Coasts and Tourist Zones, SAPCO. SAPCO loaned Akon $2 million for the project and ceded land near the coastal village of Mbodiène for the city's development. However, this land belonged to several hundred villagers who were owed compensation from the Senegalese government. Some residents have yet to receive compensation, and there have been issues with land rights and local support for the project. In addition to land rights issues, Akon City has faced legal troubles. In 2021, Akon's former business partner, Divine Stevens, filed a $4 million lawsuit against him, claiming unpaid debts. Stevens' lawyer, Jeffrey Movitt, alleged that Akon City and Akon's cryptocurrency, Akon, exhibited characteristics of fraudulent business ventures such as Ponzi schemes. Akon denied these allegations and settled part of the lawsuit by paying $850,000. The project has also faced delays, with Akon blaming the COVID-19 pandemic for the setbacks. As of 2023, only a welcome center and a youth center have been constructed, with the site mostly filled by cattle. The government's backing for the project has weakened, and local news says SAPCO has warned Akon that if progress isn't made by next year, they might cancel their agreement with him. The possible failure of Akon City has caused different opinions. Some people are questioning Akon's intentions and connections, while others support his goal of improving Africa. People are also talking about how hard it is to build big projects in Africa and the risk of scams in similar ventures. Akon's involvement in the diamond mining industry has been another notable controversy in his career. In 2007, it was revealed that Akon owned a diamond mine in South Africa. Akon himself confirmed this, stating that he didn't believe in conflict or blood diamonds, referring to the issue as a media exaggeration fueled by movies like Blood Diamond. He argued that other industries like oil were more deserving of the blood label due to the greater number of deaths associated with them. Akon's decision to invest in a diamond mine sparked criticism from those concerned about the ethical implications of the diamond trade in Africa. Amnesty International, for example, claimed that millions of people had died in wars fueled by the illegal diamond trade. In an interview with The Independent, Akon shared his rationale for the investment. He stated that diamonds would always be in demand and that investing in natural resources was a smart business decision. He also made it clear, making money was his main gig, and music came second. He wanted to earn as much as possible and put his money into things that would really make a difference. In addition to the South African diamond mine, Akon has also expanded his mining ventures to the Democratic Republic of Congo. In 2021, a company led by Akon signed a deal to finance a copper and cobalt mine in a joint venture with a state miner. The contract, published by the Mines Ministry, showed that Akon's firm, White Waterfall LLC, committed to paying a signing bonus and financing a feasibility study for the project. In 2022, Akon admitted that he used his brother, Abu Thiam, as a body double when he was overbooked for shows early in his career. He explained that his brother would perform at shows or do interviews on his behalf, allowing Akon to maximize his income by being in multiple places at once. Akon and his brother looked similar, and in the pre-internet era, people couldn't easily verify whether it was Akon or not. T-Pain corroborated Akon's story, stating that he also grew up in the industry with body doubles. Akon's use of a body double sparked mixed reactions on social media, with some finding it amusing and others expressing disbelief that people were fooled. Before this video ends, I want to point something out. Akon tried hard to present himself in a certain way, but But one incident gave him more credibility than all his lies combined. And this is the fact that he is one of the few who stood up to hip-hop's ultimate villain, Suge Knight. The incident happened in 2009 at a private party in Arizona during the NBA All-Star Weekend. According to police reports, a fight broke out between the two groups of guests in the VIP area. When officers arrived, they witnessed Robert Carnes Jr., who was identified as a member of Akon's camp and claimed to be Akon's business manager, punched Suge Knight in the head twice. The police had to use tasers to quell the fight. Carnes Jr. was arrested and charged with felony aggravated assault due to the severity of Knight's injuries. Another suspect was charged with misdemeanor disorderly conduct. In 2020, Akon addressed the incident in an interview, stating that the altercation stemmed from a business dispute between himself, Suge Knight, and Akon's former road manager. Akon described Suge Knight's bullying tactics and tensions over unpaid compensation. In 2023, Suge Knight made additional claims against Akon on his Collect Call podcast, accusing Akon and his former road manager of raping underage girls. Akon denied these claims, calling them outrageous, false, and disgusting. He threatened to take legal action against Suge Knight for defamation. At the end of the day, I think it is safe to say Akon survived everything: the controversies, legal issues, and himself. If you enjoyed this video, click on the card showing on your screen right now for more videos.